I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do.
Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Sunday, June the 16th races at Hastings. Once again, we have 8 races on tap, starting at 150. We do have a couple of win fours. The late win four is a guaranteed $10,000 payout pool to start in race number 5. So a little bit of interest there, but
yes,
good card. Again, good races this weekend. Michelle Milner did a great job getting some nice cards.
It is, and that late pick 4 is going to be tough because, as we're going to touch on, the boys' stake looks pretty.
Paid 11 grand last week.
Yeah,
late pick 4, 20 cents, 11 grand. So you know you can get a lot of money for not a lot of investment. 11 G's.
That's
the
a good return there.
That's not bad for 20 cents.
And it looks like it could pay big this week, as I mentioned. The John Longden, we're going to get to that a little later. It's a pretty wide open event, so no, doesn't look like many singles. On the late pick 4, the first race is a $16,000 claimant event for 3-year-old fillies, going 6.5. I went to the 5 Marshall Swindle here for Terry Clyde, 1 for 16. Went up in that 25 with flight data that was very quick, 17 and 2. Just got beat a nose by Blondie, but Marshall Swindle back in for 16 I think is super tough. I got Marshall Swindle on top of the 1 Rockstar Red. This is a filly they paid a decent price for at the BC sale. Tried her in maiden special weight last year, her only start of her 2-year-old year, and first out this year in a maiden 8, just ran away from 1 by 6. I don't think this is out of her reach, and there's obviously a bit more there. And I threw in the Librarian of the Dino Conolinos barn, broke her maiden for 16, and then was in that same race as Marshall Swindle, that very quick 25. Blinkers go on. Interesting, Amadeo Perez sticks with her over Rockstar Red, but I'm going to go with Rockstar Red in the second spot. 5-1-6 for me.
Yeah, I agree with I have the same top 3, but I went, of course, Marshall Swindle, as you did on top. Did all the hard work, chased the flight data through a 21 and 3, 44 and 4 opening half. There's not going to be those kind of fractions this time.
No.
If the race didn't totally empty her out, because she is coming back in 2 weeks, she would really need to bounce, I think, to lose this race. I think she sits on the outside of Rockstar Red, puts her away, and wins the money. I put the 6-horse Librarian in for second. Nice maiden score. Did it greenly. Looked like a horse that maybe did need blinkers at the time, but kind of lost focus at the head of the lane, and Bad Girl went by her, and then she dug in and came back on. I like to see that. Last time, just did not run well at all, but that was for a quarter. And down for 16. Still has to face with Marshall Swindle, though. But the blinkers do go on, so maybe we'll see a better Librarian. And I agree with Rockstar Red. Impressive first up run this year. She will need to continue to improve to win the race, but maybe she can't. But I did go 5, 6, and 1 in the Sunday opener. On to the second race, $16,000 non-3 lifetime, going 6.5 furlongs. The 5-horse Demerara, I was really impressed with this horse's run. I know it was just maiden 8, but the horse wasn't never challenged. Had added blinkers that day. Set some fast fractions. Was always traveling well. And then when Vola Veloce was making a bit of a run on the final turn, Enrique Gonzalez just shook the lines, and this horse did move on, stretch out, and win quite nicely. The one negative is that I do lose Enrique Gonzalez to the 7-horse Sword Fighter. And I'm just going to hope that the connections made the wrong choice. But I think Demerara is going the right way. I put Sword Fighter in for second. Good third by an Imposing Cat in European. No real excuses that day, but I guess the blinkers going on this one as well could be what the tonic that's needed to make this horse a little bit better. And I put the 4-horse, the chances are, who chased the eventual winner. Imposing Cat through some not quick opening fractions. It was down on the inside. Once you get buried down the inside, it's really tough to keep marching on. I thought the horse boxed on well to be 4th. Pretty good rider change here from Ascensio to Amadeo Perez as well. So I thought I left out European. Good run-up effort last time. The 3-year-old Aldergrove. There's some nice little horses in here, but we can only pick 3 of them. I went 5, 7, and 4.
I went to the 7 Sword Fighter. Hadn't run since February, and it was the first time over this track here at Hastings. And I think I think he gets a lot out of that. As you mentioned, blinkers go on. Enrique picks this one. So I'm going to put Sword Fighter on top. I put European in the second spot. I thought a good effort last time. Cindy's usually very good off the claim. And I've always kind of liked this horse. He shows up every time. He's always tough.
And she had a nice winner the other day off the claim. You got this.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And just, he hits the board a lot. What is he? 7 for 10, sprinting, lifetime. Hamill sticks with him. I'm going to throw him in the second spot. And I agree, Demerara, there could be a lot more there. This horse come back to work smartly. He's out of that good Capilano family. Lightly raced 4-year-old. He's only making his 4th start, but looked very good winning last time. There could, as I mentioned, there could be quite a bit more there. 7, 2, and 5. I did go with Sword Fighter on top in the second. On to the third. Fillies and Mares, 4, non-3. Going long, going to mile 16th, field of 8. I went to the 3 Camus Reserve, the Terry Clyde runner here. I think she's never run it long before, but she's got some of the better breeding in this field to go long. Tabazar, a Tappet stallion of an Orientate mare, decent number for the distance, runs like a horse that will get the distance, does have 2 sprints, making her 3rd start. I think this could be a peak effort for Camus Reserve in a pretty interesting race. I put her on top of Maury Girl, another one at Jersey Town out of a Perfect Soul mare. Only the 1 start going a mile 16th, but that was in a stake last year, so we can forgive her that one. This one will not be as tough in here for 4, and another one that's in here with a big shot. And who did I throw? I threw an EcoCharge, coming off an impressive win, sprinting. She has gone long in the past, but another one, when she was running long, those are much tougher races, right? In for 16 and whatnot. So off a nice win, I could see EcoCharge come back with a big effort. I went 3-1-7.
They have the same 3 horses, but the one problem we have in this race is that none of these horses have proven they want to go long.
No, I looked up and down, nobody.
Everyone has struggled when they go long.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have had excuses because they run against stakes horses or allowance horses in those long races.
Considerably
There's not a lot of opportunities for the young fillies to run long, if other than in stakes and the allowance race that goes.
Exactly.
But none of them have shown a liking at all to go along. And I'm just going to guess that EcoCharge might be able to get the lead and just keep running, and that's my guess. And basically, that's all it is. Camus Reserve, 2-mile runs at Turf Paradise last year, got beat a million lengths in both of them, and it's just, I don't want to hang my hat on any one particular horse in here, but I put that one in for second. And Maury Girl, who also, just a little tiny filly by Jersey Town, and she ran well in her 2 sprints this year. But as you mentioned, her 1 route race was against Sears Hannah and was well beaten. So it's really tough to There's no one in here that really loves to go.
Oh yeah,
okay,
this is like proven.
This horse has been running not terribly, but just splitting the field, sprinting, and okay, this horse will love to go long. There isn't one of those in here, which makes it a little difficult for the handicapping assignment. 7-3-1 for me in the third. On to the 4th race, Fillies and Mares, non-2-4, going 6.5 furlongs. I went to the 1-horse Bad and Bougie. Horse got to break better. I always broke bad last time. It cost her any chance of winning. As EcoCharge got away on some slow fractions, and this one had to settle for second. But this race has come up well within her reach. She should win. But the 7-horse Cape Light in for second. Good runner-up effort last time to Yellow Bonnet. Phil Hall runner. And the 10-horse Pawnee Girl I put in for third. This horse was running against the boys in her final start last year. Makes her first start this season. Work tab's been good for a barn that's going quite well. 1, 7, and 10. But Bad and Bougie looks like, I don't know, Mike Key in the early pick 4.
I'm with you. I went with the 2 that are coming off a good second in a 4-on-2. They were different races, but I landed on Bad and Bougie too. Of course, Amadeo and Phil Hall, top Peter Redicott, very good connections there. Another one's come back to work well, 46-2. So Bad and Bougie on top of Cape Light. Agree with Cape Light. Looked like a winner last time. Yellow Bonnet just came and got her late. Very live in here for Craig McPherson. I threw in Essie Rose. It's always tough.
Well. I liked the horse last time.
Yeah, it's always tough coming off a maiden score, but it did take her a while to break her maiden, but she could get some confidence out of that, and good to see Enrique Gonzalez take the call. I went 1, 7, and 5 in the 4th. On to the 5th, maiden 4 for Fillies and Mares, going 6.5. Another race, a bit of a head scratcher here. I went to Waffles. She's been well backed in her first 2 starts. Started out for 16, then last time in an 8 with Rockstar Red. Rockstar Red ran away from him that day, so she only got beat about 3 lengths for second. And Danny Velasquez takes the call. I put Waffles on top of the 8, 4 to win of the John Snowbarn. Good second, or third, sorry. Led the whole way. There's not a ton of pace in here. Maybe she can get the lead by herself and be tough. She's drawn outside of the other speed horse would be reconsidered. So 4 to win looks live in here and in light with Lenny Cicheron. And I threw in the 1, Boston Betty. Hasn't missed all of her 4-year-old campaign, but when she was running here before, running with some very tough mares around here, yeah, and was running tough races and worked forwardly for this. And if she can bring back anything she had a couple years ago, she could be very tough in here. I just didn't want to leave her out. I went 5, 8, and 1.
Yeah, I agree with the 5-horse Waffles. I think this is a very good spot for her. Decent run first time out for 16, came back for 8, got kind of crushed on the pace with Rockstar Red, who just ran away and hid. That's a better than looked 4th by 9 for Waffles. This is not a tough field. She can beat this group, and I think she'll be really tough. Danny Velasquez rides. Put the 8-horse 4 to win in for second. And talking about the John Snow runner. Did everything right. It got caught late by We Are Free. It was a first-time starter, and also Bombay, who's another consistent hit the board kind of mare. And I put the 2-horse Saturna for Pat Jarvis. A couple of good runs since adding blinkers. I think this horse is going the right way, and Saturna is definitely interesting in here as well. But I thought Waffles was
looks tough.
I think is going to be really tough. I went 5, 8, and 2 in the 5th. On to the 6th race, non-2 lifetime allowance race for 3-year-olds. We do have 8 Colts and Geldings in here and 1 filly, going 6.5 furlongs. And I'm going to go to the filly in here. Sunburst, the filly race did not fill. I only got 4 horses. And from a time stand, I know just the connections from a time standpoint, if you're going to make the next stakes race on Canada Day, you kind of got to run this weekend. You can't wait till next weekend and do both. So going to take on the boys. But I think she drew a field that's got a pile of speed in it, and got a Ranger, Ring of Kerry, Swaggy Bear, Finally Classy, Vintage Man, Dave Flat. There's a lot of pace in here.
Yeah.
And Sunburst looked really good winning last time. I know she's running against the boys, but I just think she's ready for the next step. She's worked well since her last race, and looks like a good chance. The 7-horse That Day was my second pick. Did run second last time, but really didn't scare the winner at all. Had every shot to win the race. Explode blew by him and just ran second because everyone else battled hard on the head end. The race prior to that just had a tough trip from the 11 hole. He's a nice horse, but he beat a Ranger in his only win in the Futurity, and it's like when you start to look at it on that scope, that's just okay.
Yeah.
Do I want to take 8 to 5 on that day? Maybe not. But still a very live horse. And the 2-horse Ring of Kerry, that horse ran really well. Did get the lead last time, but did have to run on at the end. And Whiskey Bound, who's an up-and-coming talented 3-year-old, did defeat him that day. But he was very game in defeat and did dead heat with a 4-year-old Harry's Hammer. So gets back in against 3-year-olds. Does have to deal with some other pace. Does get Amadeo Perez, though. But I thought those were the 3 horses. I left Vintage Man out, and I just worry about the draw on the inside speed. Maybe he can clear. 3-7-2.
I don't have a whole lot to add. I did go to That Day. Explosive stamped himself as the best 3-year-old here, and he ran second behind him last time. And now going into a non-2 allowance, he figures to be tough. I put him on top. I agree with the filly Sunburst. Both of her runs were very good. The first one against Flight Data, that was a pretty...
Which proves to be a pretty good race now that Flight Data's come back and win again.
Impressively for 25.
Yeah.
So, and then last time, couldn't have been more impressive with a big closing move. And I agree with you. Good closer in a field where there's a lot of pace. She's very playable. And I'm with you on Ring of Kerry as well. Good second behind Whiskey Bound.
George Gilbert and Phil Hall, don't lose many.
Nope, they're going great guns right now. 7-3-2 for me. Same horses as Mike, different order. On to the 7th, the John Longden. $50,000 stake for older boys, going to mile 16th. I went to the 4 pitch count here. The Glenn Todd horse claimed this horse off Robertino Diodoro for $50,000. Got an 88 buyer that day. That was in the slop. I went back and watched that race, and he ran a big race that day. Just couldn't catch the winner, but made a few runs at him down the lane. He looks live. He was scratched out of the last sprint, but this is more his game. You look at his form. He loves going long. He's running tough races. Those 50s and whatnot, Oaklawn.
They're tough.
They're not soft. He should fit well in here. And I got pitch count on top of Calgary Caper. I was really impressed with that sprint race by Calgary Caper last time.
Pace. 23-46.
46, and just came flying at the end. Couldn't quite catch Colterbury, but still a big run and should set him up well here for what he does best, which is go long. And the multiple stakes winner for Lance Giesbrecht and Kim Peacock I got in the second spot. And I threw in Brave Nation. Coming off a nice win at Golden Gate. Again, those optional 25s at Golden Gate aren't easy races. And he got an 82 buyer, looked good doing it. Just missed behind Calgary Caper in the premiers last year. So he's a solid horse for Gordy Kristoff, and I didn't want to leave him out of a very competitive John Longden. I went 4, 5, and 3.
Yeah, I didn't love anyone in here. This is I'm glad you went to pitch count. I mean, it's a stranger, a new one, and I didn't pick the horse top 3, but I could see the horse winning for sure. He's a distance specialist, and you know we don't have the strongest older horse division right now. I mean, Calgary Capo's still leading the division. He just got beat for 50 grand claiming, and I know it was sprinting, but it's not the toughest of divisions, and maybe pitch count can maybe make his way to the top of it. I went Appalachia just because of pace scenario. I went Appalachia Bay. There's no speed in this race at all. Who's going to get the lead in here? It's going to be Appalachia Bay, and this horse is going to have every opportunity to win the race.
Yeah, I see that.
Was pinned down on the inside last time, chasing. I forget who the speed horse was, but a White Sport ended up. His stablemate, a White Sports Coat, ended up running by him and winning the money, but he's still very game in defeat. He just lost by a nose for second to Driller, and I think the stretch ought to be good for him. He's a better route horse. I think he's a better route horse especially when he gets the lead in comfortable fractions. He's going to be dangerous. But the 6-horse Driller, another one. I always like Driller. He's cool.
He's cool. Really
he's
cool
a neat horse. He ran good second. Didn't get away like I thought he would last time. I thought he'd be near the pace, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
And I put Brave Nation in the mix as well. John gets his horse back after having him last fall. He did run second in the BC Premiers. Very nice colt, and he's coming off a nice first condition allowance win at Golden Gate. So going along, so it'll be interesting. But good race. I left out Calgary Caper. Just pace scenario is the only reason I left the horse out, but he might circle and win it anyway. 263 for me in the 7th. On to the 8th and final, $25,000 older horses. Good race here to close it out. Field of 8, headed by Square Dancer. It was always tough in these kind of races, making his 2019 debut. But I did go to a stablemate out of the Steve Henson barn. Don't Hold Me Back. Good runner-up effort to Gato Guapo, who's a really nice horse in the Robertino Diodoro barn down in Phoenix. The horse has been freshened up a bit. Good work, Tab. Looks like the lone speed in here, at least going to be one of the pace horses. There's no speed in this race. The outside 5 horses have no speed. And the inside, maybe Absolutely Stylish might flash some speed, but other than that, it's kind of quiet for speed, so the pace should be quite comfortable. The one horse, Absolutely Stylish, I like him to be in the mix, and a Square Dancer as well. I thought 3, 1, 8 were your horses in here.
I don't have a lot to add.
I like Don't Hold Me Back. I like that horse.
Yeah, I'm with you on Don't Hold Me Back, as you mentioned. Good second behind Gato Guapo last time. Mr. Jagermeister ran 3rd in that race, and Mr. Jagermeister is like a 100-time winner. He's one of those horses. He's won like 30 races or something crazy. And got an 81 buyer. He's come back to work well here at Hastings, where he's won a stake before in 59 and 2. Don't Hold Me Back, I agree with Absolutely Stylish in the 2nd spot. Hasn't run since February, but Phil Hall obviously
gets run protected, not in for the claiming price.
Yeah, exactly.
90 days.
Yeah, exactly. The 5-year-old son, Uncle Mo. I mean, live connections. Redicop, Gonzalez, Phil Hall. They win their share here. I threw in Highway Boss for 3rd just because you look at his form. It's nothing but stakes. He finally gets out of stakes company in for 25, and Glenn Todd generally very tough on horses dropping down. So I went 3, 1, and 6.
Yeah, Pioneer of the West is interesting too, and not yet. There's a couple of it's a tough race, and just tactically, as I think this 3 horse has an edge. Don't Hold Me Back, just because there's no speed in the race, and whoever gets the lead is going to be really tough.
Could be a very tough late pick 4. That'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday card. Up next on screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're up.
There we go. Back in race number 1, I had to go to the 5-horse. Marshall Swindle, 5-6-1. Race number 2, and once again a 5. Demerara going to go 5-7-4. Race number 3, went to the 7. Eco Charge. Over to the 3, Camus Reserve, and the 1, Maury Girl. Race number 4, went to the 1, Bad and Bougie. Going to go 1-7-10. Race number 5, went to the 5, Waffles. Going to go 5-8-2. Race number 6, went to the 3, Sunburst. The filly against the boys, 3-7-2. Race number 7, I went to the 2, Appalachia Bay over the 6-3. And race number 8, I went to the 3, Don't Hold Me Back. 3 and 1 are the horses for me, but I did put in the 8-horse Square Dancer for 3rd.
On to my picks, there we go. Back in the 1st, I agree with Mike on number 5, Marshall Swindle. I think we only have a couple same picks today. Marshall Swindle over the 1 and the 6. The 2nd, I went to the 7, Sword Fighter over the 2 and the 5. The third, I went to the 3, Camus Reserve over the 1 and the 7. In the fourth, went to the 1, Bad and Bougie over the 7 and the 5. In the fifth, I agree with Mike on number 5, Waffles over the 8 and the 1. In the sixth, I went to the 7, Dat Day over the 3 and the 2. In the seventh, the John Longden, I went to the 4, Pitch Count over the 5, Calgary Caper, and the 3, Brave Nation. And the nightcap, I agree with Mike number 3, Don't Hold Me Back over the 1 and the 6.
All right, that'll do it for the Sunday, June the 16th edition of Handicapper's Corner. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And our next live cards will be next Saturday and Sunday, June the 22nd, June the 23rd. Of course, all the start times will be at 1:50 throughout the month of June. And should be great weather. Should be a lot of fun. Please do come on out to Hastings Racecourse. And if you can't make it out, come here to the Derby Bar and Grill. Yep. You're always welcome. Lots of seating available. Great televisions, high definition televisions. Get the best of everything.
Everything
here.
You want right here, that's for sure.
So do come on out here if you're in the South Surrey area, if you can't make it out to the track. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do.